N'Zoth returns. What is going on, guys? A new model, Datamined and leaked here for 12.0.5. We just went through these sets right here. We saw some new N'Zothian-inspired sets. What is exactly going on with N'Zoth? Could he be making a return? I've said it many times before. N'Zoth knew we were coming for him, right? He knew that his demise was going to be at our hands. And yet, as the greatest planner of all the old gods, he just let it happen? I don't think so. I think N'Zoth had a plan. I think there was some weird stuff going on. And I think N'Zoth could be making a return based on these sets and whatever our boy Doran is about to talk about here. Let's check this video out real quick about how N'Zoth could be making his return at 12.0.5.
Well, conveniently enough, we just datamined a brand new Void infused N'Zoth model. We datamined Naga stuff from 12.0.5 related to N'Zoth, and very likely related to that now fabled Ashara prophecy. Remember, N'Zoth built something really bad in Xal'atath apparently, which is why Xal'atath originally attacked him, but then they made a pact. The pact that might still be in progress, and we've only seen a part of it.
Right, if you didn't see this scene in the game, the old gods are basically imprisoning Xal'atath, right? They're putting her in the blade, they're pushing her away, they've won. But then she whispers, just to N'Zoth. He's the only one who hears these whispers about how, she's eventually going to get free, she's going to fuck up all the old gods in revenge for all this, but if he teams up with her right now, she won't fuck him up. And basically, N'Zoth kind of agreed to this shit and eventually ends up taking this dagger from her. We don't know what his plan was for it. We don't know why he took the freaking dagger. He wanted her to leave it behind when she left the player behind with him. And I think he survived through the dagger, personally. The dagger finally shows up again at the end of the raid now. We know that. And I think N'Zoth is showing back up as well.
Only seen a part of it. Furthermore, all the Il'gynoth whispers may be finally coming into place, as it all leads to this, from the golden one to the...
J-Mal, that's a good question. Still got a question. How did she get the dagger when it was Rathian who had the blade? Well, Rathian didn't have it anymore. If you watch the cinematic at the end of Dragonflight when we're in the raid, he stabs N'Zoth's carcass with it and then gets blasted back. And he actually looks at his hand because he's like, where the fuck is the dagger? Well, yeah, turns out it was either with N'Zoth or Xal'atath went and got it back. Wherever it wasn't with Rathian anymore. He left it behind that day.
Throne to ushering our coming. So what is all this new info we just learned from 12.0.5, and is N'Zoth finally coming back? With Midnight out, there is so much to catch up to, and Rested XP currently has the most up-to-date and robust leveling odds. I'm talking both factions, all the routes, farming spots, achievements, dailies, you name it. You can get everything done so much more efficiently for a one-time fee. They've got everything for hardcore and classic as well, and best of all, if you use my link below, you will get 10% off your order immediately. So check out Rested XP.
Yeah, do it. Do it, boys. Check it out.
So this Il'gynoth guy has literally become a meme at this point. I mean, we've been pointing at everything that resembled a modicum of sense that he predicted it, and let's be real, the guy never really predicted anything at this point. It's certain Blizzard...
You see? He looks at his hand, and the dagger's no longer there. He doesn't know what happened to the dagger. Did it disintegrate, explode? We're not sure. But what we do know is it's no longer with Rathian. And you can see right here behind my head, his hand is empty. He no longer has the dagger there.
Just made it all up. Based on how they held a bunch of the story, it's obvious that they're just kind of winging it, and I
keep saying Dragonflight was BFA, my bad. Was it BFA? It was BFA. I'm such an idiot. We did kill N'Zoth in BFA. Yeah, I say Dragonflight because Rathian's a dragon, and that's what I thought, yeah.
100%
You're right.
certain they didn't have this plan 10 years in advance, but regardless, some of the old whispers may finally come to fruition, as, let's be real, this Xal'atath Midnight thing, realistically, is the ultimate culmination of all the old god stuff, Black Empire and everything else. We are in the final battle. It has been building up to this stage, and it's clear that some of the predictions have to end, so based on this logic, it's likely that it happens now. So, you guys must have seen the Void Spire finale where a lot of things happened, but something kinda crazy happened here. Of course, some spoilers if you haven't seen it yet. To be completely honest, I do feel like the entire Xal'atath Illyria dynamic has gotten a bit stale. I mean, every time Illyria runs into Xal'atath, she gets this headache, so now that...
there's a lot of sexual tension here, too. I mean, I don't know if anyone else felt it, the way she's rubbing the shoulders. Yeah, look at this. I mean, she giving the little finger pop. Look at that, too. Oh, yeah. I liked it. I kind of like the Illyria dynamic with her. Illyria kind of pissed me off because she'd be so aggressive, and she still hasn't figured out that basically Xal'atath is always 2, 5, 15 steps ahead of her. But yeah, I didn't mind the dynamic at all. It looks like it's over now.
And she gets this headache, so now that has kinda come to an end. It was clear from the start that something would happen here, the final confrontation, but what I didn't expect was
Yeah, this moment right here, I don't know how the hell she ended up with the dagger, but this was a big reveal, for sure.
was that Xal'atath would pull out the Xal'atath dagger and stab Illyria with it. We'll get into what really happens later down the line in a different video, because obviously this is not the ending. We've datamined a lot more midnight stuff, but what I really want to discuss is how did Xal'atath even get the dagger, and how kinda out of nowhere N'Zoth seems to be coming back. Actually, if you follow this stuff closely the past few years, it's not out of nowhere, but it happened suddenly in this cinematic, and we have a suspicious amount of brand new evidence, from a new N'Zoth model to Naga summoning him to a few more things.
To the gear set I mentioned.
Something really weird is going on with N'Zoth, and we actually got a glimpse of that in the War Within, but it was never explained what exactly was going on. Remember when Xal'atath launched the invasion of the Black Empire and they defeated her, but Xal'atath made a pact with N'Zoth that they actually fulfilled back in BFA, but then N'Zoth and Ashara kind of disappeared without a follow-up. Looks like that is now starting to finally materialize. So, with the new information, we can actually get added context to the entire ordeal. Originally, I was under the impression that Xal'atath was working for the Void Lords and was trying to get the old gods back in line, but looks like something entirely different was going on.
Yeah, no, we realize now she wasn't working for the Void Lords. Maybe she used to. Maybe at some point, you know, Demancius devoured many planets thanks to her service to him. But in our planet, at least, she was no longer working for Demancius. She'd been working for herself and her own survival. That's what she was doing. And she was trying to undermine him, undermine the old gods, figure out a way to get to whatever she's trying to do now. This has been her endgame for quite a while. And the old gods almost messed it up for her.
Was going on. First of all, the warlords haven't been a thing for ages apparently, and there have been hints that the old gods, while originally void beings, may have mutated through the effects of Azeroth's world soul. We've had hints Azeroth gives free will, and this kind of explains why the old gods are so fleshy and
yeah, and this whole gift of free will basically from Azeroth has been a big deal throughout the War Within. That's where these Thragar all came from, right? These like diamond out earthen boys, and basically that was like the earthen digging right into the planet. They would get too close to the world soul, and her influence on them would eventually turn them into Thragar, which would give them free will, right? And so that was we've seen now the influence of Azeroth has the ability to give free will. Who else given free will? The old gods. Curse of Flesh gave a lot of the humans, dwarves, gnomes, and the rest of these characters free will as well. So we've seen this now from two different sources. But the gift of free will has become a pretty big thing in WoW.
Different as opposed to regular void beings. These Azeroth old gods may have originally been entirely different, but they are now in a way even native to Azeroth with their mutations. So who knows what this attack even was. It probably had nothing to do with the warlords, but we did learn that the reason Xal'atath attacked was because N'Zoth was apparently building something in Alota, which was never explained. So when this cinematic came out, this flashback, it was interesting, but it was never explained what was going on. All we know is that this is when Xal'atath was imprisoned in the Blade, and pretty much she only managed to get out recently, and the old gods have been warning us that she will bring only ruin. Second, remember the old dragonfly Ashara prophecy? When it comes to pass, she will come from the Veil of the Void, and we kinda expected that to happen in the War Within, but now it's obvious that a lot of War Within stuff was moved to Midnight, and now in Midnight we are right now in 12.0.5 PTR, and guess who is also in the 12.0.5 PTR? Naga, and these Naga are talking about N'Zoth and may be related to this summoning.
Right, I actually hadn't considered the Naga as another hint that N'Zoth could be coming back, right? That is for sure. Naga related to N'Zoth. What's going to happen with all that? If these things are all kind of coming to fruition at once, this Datamined stuff, the armor sets I showed you this morning, these, the return, obviously, of the Naga, all this stuff seems to be pointing at some N'Zothian shit going on. Good morning, Konesia. Welcome in.
To this summoning. We've datamined Naga even back in the alpha. I've talked about this a few months back, but now we have seen more obvious N'Zoth-like hints. However, what I really want to talk about is the fact that Xal'atath got the blade, and
where did she get the freaking blade from?
back in the day, we uncovered what we thought was just a random enchanted dagger, and looks like inside of it was literally the leader of the entire Void Realm. However, she did manage to break free, and last that we saw the dagger, it was used to stab N'Zoth, but I've been saying that the old gods
this scene right here
don't really die in the way mortals do. Death is not really a thing for the old gods, especially you don't really stab them with a dagger. So
and I've said this before, looking at this scene specifically, if you watch the flow of power, right, what's going on after he stabs N'Zoth, you can clearly see that power is flowing from N'Zoth into the dagger, almost like he's being trapped inside of it, right? And it keeps happening. Clearly the flow of power is happening in that direction, and then you get the final explosion.
Stabbing him might have just been a way to transfer.
So to me, that was like N'Zoth was being stored, or a piece of him was being put into the dagger. And then later on, if Xal'atath, now that she has it, if Xal'atath was the one who found the dagger after this event occurred, maybe she freed him from it. Just saying.
Him into the blade right under our nose, while we believe that we managed to defeat him. The thing is, we know these two had a pact that they seemingly made in the ages past. What we saw is probably a very minor part of this plan. What we also know is that he built something really bad in Xal'atath, and also remember, we never actually visited the real Xal'atath, and we still don't know where exactly on Azeroth this is located. I'm guessing this pact could be related to what he was building. Now, to not just go into speculation here, the main reason I'm even making this video is that we have literally data-mined a brand new N'Zoth model.
I do have a follow-up question real quick here. We see Rathian holding the dagger, right? And he does a little flip.
This is low.
Right? He does the cool little, yeah, look at that stance. Yeah, he's got some swagger. And then he transforms into a dragon.
I think this pact could be related.
No, nothing in his hand. Where'd he put the dagger? Just saying, guys. Where did he put the dagger when he went dragon form? Use your imagination, boys.
Is that we have literally data-mined a brand new N'Zoth model from just
not in his hand.
a few days back. A very different N'Zoth, like a void infused N'Zoth. We still can't say for certain what this is.
This is interesting. So, like, this is obviously N'Zoth is a void creation. So, a void corrupted N'Zoth is kind of, I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. But yeah, clearly a more purpled out, I don't know, more voidy N'Zoth. I don't know what that could be, but yeah. Cause, I mean, Xal'atath's all about adding to her army and her power. So, yeah, putting a voidy old god on her side, yeah, why not?
Be a throwback to the old days, or it could be something new. What I do find very interesting here, though, is what I just talked about a minute ago, how the old gods may have been void originally, similar to Xal'atath's minions, but they transformed into fleshy beings through Azeroth. This void-infused N'Zoth might explain this alliance, or the...
Maybe. That's an interesting one. That Azeroth actually gave the old gods kind of the curse of flesh, which was then passed on to us. So then that would mean that only... I talked about earlier how the old gods have granted free will on this planet, and so has Azeroth. In this theory, Azeroth's the one granting free will across the board to everybody.
Return to his true form. Then, of course, we have a few more things to talk about. The fabled Il'gynoth whispers. At the hour of her third death, she will usher in our coming. This could realistically refer to Illyria, or potentially even the Sunwell. Illyria technically died when she was lost on Outland, and her elven side died when she transformed into the Void, and now she may have actually been stabbed, so this could usher in their coming, but it could also refer to the Sunwell, which has been destroyed twice before, and now it is destroyed once again. The second, then I don't really even need to explain at this point if you played Midnight. The Golden One claims a vacant throne, a crown of light will bring only darkness. I mean, you can see how relevant Aurelian is in this expansion, what is going on, they're constantly foreshadowing something bad going on with him. I think this one could be the most relevant. And lastly, we have something very likely related to the Haranir, the vessel of life disguised as treachery. Beware the eyes of greed. I've actually talked about this hint for years now, but I think something is going on with Orvenia. Could be the Dreadlords, but this Haranir literally is the one that convinced them to come out of hiding, and they apparently been hiding since the dawn of time. There could be some ulterior motives going on here, and Orvenia suspiciously has green eyes. Of course, with his whispers, it could always be BS, I know, but if they're real, now with Midnight and the World's Soul Saga is when they will either happen or they will never happen. Pretty much all the prophecies led to this moment. If N'Zoth does return, though, it will be interesting to see what his role really is.
I hope he does
really
return.
Was the pact with Xal'atath and N'Zoth? Are they still working together? And it's almost certain now that the return of Queen Ashara is imminent as well.
Yeah,
Thanks
both
for
would be
watching. Check
welcome.
out my video on the new Gilneas and Lordaeron stuff. We also datamined recently by clicking on the screen, and subscribe to my brand new Witcher lore channel that I
talk a
recently
little bit more
created
about
by
this.
clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, N'Zoth's return and the Naga's return with Queen Azar and everything. I would love to see both of them happen. To me, it wouldn't just be like, oh, we're rehashing old gods and old shit because we don't have anything else to do. Hydraxis, thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our Scourge. It wouldn't just be a rehash. It would be a continuation because I really don't think N'Zoth died. I think it's like antithetical to his lore and what he does to have him die in a way that he knew was coming. So the whole dagger play and everything, the fact that the dagger showed up again, as soon as I saw it in that cinematic, that was the first thing I thought. It was like, wait a minute, that thing was left with N'Zoth. What the hell? How did she end up with it? And if she did pick it up and N'Zoth was in it, did she free him? Was that part of their deal? Was that part of their end game? Who knows, but definitely cool stuff, definitely a lot of potential there. And again, those Datamined armor sets that we just saw, these could be future store items or whatever. Very N'Zothian, obviously, so some interesting, very Naga-like too. So we'll see what ends up happening, but overall, a nice video here from Doran.